couple, you can go as high as about 11.6, I believe, is what it is. 11.6 million. Before, so your estate, if it's less than that, does not get taxed as a couple.
And the person inheriting it doesn't get taxed, right?
And the person that inherits it doesn't get taxed either, because it's an inheritance. It's an inheritance tax above that. Okay, but here's the thing: how many of the population in America has an estate value that's above 11 million? Less than 1%. Actually, we figured out it's about 17 or 1900 families. Now, how many families live in America? Right? So we're okay on that one. But the point I'm trying to make is that inheritance is tax-free. Right? So there's a whole other way of what if, here's my question to you guys. What if we could take money that you are making here? Now, what if we could take that and create strategies so that over time, with the appropriate steps, create solutions so that that money, and even the dollars that you've put away here, where do you want your money growing? Which compartment? Taxable, tax deferred, or tax-free? Okay, so now, have I got your attention? That was a long introduction. Does that make sense? Every time you make a dollar, Uncle Sam is taking a piece of it. He decides how much, he decides when, and you have no control over that. Does it make sense for you to work in a situation with a partner like that? No. Okay, so what we help to propose, and then I'll show you, we'll move on with the slides, because I want to kind of get you the base down, right, so that you're starting to think outside the box. By the way, who created the box?
The man.
Your silent partner, right? Uncle Sam. So what I want you to start thinking about is, it's your money. Who has control over it? You. Okay? Think about that, because we talked about how you do not have control over your money. If you're doing deferred plans, right? The tax amount, you don't have control over that. Do you have use of your money? Not if it's in a deferred qualified plan. If you've put it away, and you've been telling and even in 1031 exchanges, what are you doing? Are you creating a tax liability in the future?
Yes.
Do you have any concept of what that tax amount is going to be?
No.
None. Is that how you want to treat your money? Is that an efficient way to take care of your wealth? Okay, think about that. Access. Do you have access to your money? If it's in a qualified plan, do you have access to your money?
No.
No. Now you could borrow against it, you could take it out, but what are the rules? You got to put it back in. Now I know one of the big things in real estate is also self-directed IRAs, right? Because you are now doing what? And you're growing your money in what? In a retirement account. So what have you really done? Have we made the problem bigger?
Created an illusion of freedom.
There you go. We've created an illusion of freedom. Because when you're using self-directed IRAs, what are you doing? You've done the same thing as the 1031. You're just pushing it down the road. I don't know about you guys, but I want to know that when I go into the future, I know for a certainty how much my taxes are going to be, how much my growth is going to be, right? I want to know down to the dollar. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why are we living this way? What are we trying to do? What is the reason why all of us are getting together? We want peace of mind. We want freedom, right? You want simple solutions, knowing that into the future I have certainty that these are the things that I have to deal with. So that is control. Do you have any use of your money? No. Do you have access to it? Limited, right? So what I want to show you is what the bankers do. I want you to consider thinking like a banker as opposed to thinking like an investor. Now, when banks, and I'll move forward with the by the way, let me just kind of go through some of these slides because disclaimers, yada, 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 right? Everything that we're telling you is based on concepts. So I'm not a certified accountant. I'm not an attorney, okay? But I am a healthcare practitioner, and I'm also a client that now has become an agent. Because here's the thing. I speak 5 languages, okay? I have 4 degrees, all right? I do well as a healthcare practitioner, okay? But I am completely, or I was completely illiterate when it came to financial wherewithal. I did what my financial advisor told me. Why? Because I'm good at what I do. You come to me, and from a health standpoint, I can compound products together that is customized to your chemistry. I can help you with your diet, your lifestyle, all those things that Dr. Scott's going to get into. But I have no clue what to do with my money. Because this is what I've been taught. Do this and hand it over to the experts. What I want to tell you is consider that you owe it to yourself if you want to have control of your life and you want to have a life that has quality in it, right? Does it make sense not to have an understanding of your health or an understanding of your wealth? Everyone here is primarily here because we're taught one thing. Go make money. I want to make more money. The more money I have, it takes care of all my problems. No. All you're doing is one half of the problem, right? Which is making money. Now that you have money, how are you going to make it work for you? How are you going to do it so that it's efficient? Right? How are you going to have access to your dollars so that when an opportunity comes along, you're able to pull the trigger, and when the markets go down, you sleep like a baby. Doesn't matter whether it's real estate, doesn't matter whether it's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, or Wall Street, right? All of those things are tied into risk. What if you had a bucket that was not tied to risk, that had guaranteed income, tax-free, compounding, tax-free? Ron just did that exercise with you about compounding. What was the number that came out after you did it 4 times? What did the 10,000 grow to? Right? That's compounding. But here's the thing. You have money sitting in the accounts. A great deal comes along. You take that money out to invest in the deal, right? Have you broken the growth that was occurring in that account? Yes. What if you could continue the growth in the account and have access to the money so that you can do your deal? Would you like to know how to do that? All right. So our approach is comprehensive, holistic. I know we use holistic for everything. Started off, actually, I'm also, by the way, the chairman of the board of a medical foundation in Phoenix. It's called the Foundation for Living Medicine. The mother of holistic medicine is the person who actually coined the term holistic. But now that we're using it in finance, I think it's kind of made its way. I think everyone knows what holistic is, right? We have arrived. All right, we have access to top-notch attorneys, right? We have access to CPAs, people who can help you with taxes, help you understand how to plan things in terms of estate, how to protect your money, how to make sure that the growth occurs in a way that keeps you in control, allows you to have use and access as well, all right? So, and by the way, our attorneys and CPAs and tax folks that we have, and even if you're in trouble as far as debt, we have a special attorney that handles debt. So they can help you to basically navigate through all these aspects that we may not be trained in. So tax-free income, eliminate market risk, manage your personal bank. Start becoming a banker. Stop thinking like an investor. Use the investing aspects that you're learning here, but attach it to bankers. Bankers never risk their money. They always use other people's money, and then they make money by the spread between the two. And we're going to show you how to be able to do the same concept with the money that you guys are making through your real estate investment. So we've been around for 15 plus years, A-rated. So that's my mug. By the way, losing hair, I think you mentioned about hair. Yeah. I think as I get older, the hair with the gravity has been going down. So, can we figure out some solution for that?
The gravity?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's the law.
It's quantum. It's quantum. All right. Teach people how to think like a banker versus an investor. The bottom line is you want to take control of your money, earn more, and create free income, tax-free income. So here's an example of household incomes. I just want to I want you to understand why should you do this? Why haven't you heard about it? And why should you do this? Okay? So I want to give you some statistics in terms of households out there. Okay? Most people don't realize, but the 20% of the population, the bottom 20% of the population makes $24,000 or less. Okay? Most people don't think that they're rich. Okay? But here are the true statistics. If you're making $70,000, that's middle class right now. Now let me ask you this question. Can you live on $70,000 in Southern California, in Santa Barbara?
No.
But do you see how 350 million people, 60% of them are living at 70,000 or less, right? The top 20% is 150,000 or more. So right now, if you're making more than 150,000, you are basically in the top 20% of the population. Now, at $150,000, do you think it's a struggle? What? Right? It's a struggle. So imagine if the top 20% are struggling, what's happening to the other 80%? Do you see why it's so important to make sure that we get the knowledge out, that we share this with everyone, right? We need to consider that if we want to be considered as human beings, as opposed to just animals, because human beings are social animals, right? We need to consider sharing our knowledge. Help each other out, right? The more you guys, this is what this is all about here. Don's sharing his knowledge to get you guys to where you need to be, right? So it's not about being in it for yourself. Because if that's what you're thinking, you're not going to get too far. Okay? Here's a real nice chart that I'd like to show. The bottom 20%, which is in blue, that's the different areas that they spend money on. and the top 20%. Look at where they're spending their dollars, all right? I'm going to show it to you in a different way. The very wealthy, the people that keep their money, make it grow, make it work for themselves and their family, and are able to pass it on to the future, what are they doing? They're spending money on personal insurance and pensions. And we'll get into a little bit of that. I'll help you understand why that's a hidden thing that most people don't realize and understand. That's where the wealthy are putting their money. Do you think the wealthy become wealthy by not knowing some things that you and I don't know? Right? So what you have been taught is wrong. Here's what we're going to do is we're going to open up the can and tell you. Secondly, look at the education piece. The wealthy spend money on education 5.5 times more than the bottom 20%. How many books have you read so far?
On what?
Anything.
Oh,
If you want to be a successful person, how do you create success? Knowledge, learning, education. The average CEO reads 50 books or more in a year. Think about it. I have another question for you. How many of you guys just want to retire? Okay. So let me ask you this, because here's what I'm going to say to you. Okay, I'm going to give you my consideration, and then we'll have a discussion. Okay. I don't think any of us should retire. That's my statement. Now let me back it up. Dr. Scott, do you love what you do?
I do.
All right. Fernando, do you love what you do?
I do.
All right. You're young, still figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
Are you capable of more than just what you're doing right now?
Oh, absolutely.
How are you going to find that out?
By trying, giving it a
Trying,
try.
learning, exposing yourself, right? Do you have more capacity and capability than just being a real estate investor?
Yep.
What are those things?
What do you mean?
Just give me an idea. What else other than being a real estate investor do you consider yourself as?
Well, an aspiring entrepreneur.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Hobbies. Do you have hobbies?
Yes.
Okay.
So I just got into reading actually about a few months ago, and I read about 2 books.
Okay.
In real estate actually. So like I'm getting like new hobbies like every single time.
So what are you doing? You're always learning,
Yep.
right? The point I'm trying to make here is it doesn't matter how old you are. If you are not 6 feet under, or in my case, cremated, all right, you are going to continue learning. Every day you're learning. Every day, if you're learning what you love and you're living what you love, do you want to retire from that? No. So if you say that you want to retire, that means, what are you going to do afterwards?
Die.
You're going to do nothing. Now, is that how you want to live your life? Do you want to retire and be stagnant?
Oh yeah.
No. So what I'm trying to help you understand is this, that look, life is not about making money. Money is a tool that helps you to live your life so that you're constantly learning all the time. You are going to grow whether you like it or not. You're going to grow whether you like it or not until the day you die. So why would you not invest in yourself, in your health, in your wealth, in the quality of your life so that you never retire? That's life, right? That's what are we teaching everyone? Does anyone teach you life? Why do we have high schools and college and degrees? Like I said, I've got 5 degrees. It means jack, because I don't know how to live life. No one taught it, but we're learning now. Yes? How do we learn? By sharing. Okay? Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. But you get my point. It's the reason I'm spending this kind of time on this because this is the intro part, introduction to wealth, introduction to your personal banking. The only way that you're going to get it, right, is if you change the way you're thinking. So the time I'm spending today is about the paradigm shift in thinking, okay? It's not about the products, just like it's never about the pill. There is no magic pill. It's about the lifestyle. It's about the understanding, right? So if you do that, if you allow yourself to learn and grow, then you will create solutions and strategies that maximizes your quality of life. All right? So don't get stuck on products. Get stuck on creating solutions and strategies that helps you maximize the quality of your life. Okay?
Nice.
So creating sustainable wealth. That's a financial goal for most people. By the way, why? Why do you guys want money? To travel. I heard have fun over here when we had that conversation before.
One less thing to worry about.
Bingo. One less thing to worry about. So if we all had money and we didn't have to worry about that, what would we do?
Be happy.
Live our lives. Right? Live our lives. Okay. So that's what we're trying to do with the money. The accumulation, tax-free, compounded, where you're in charge of your money, where you have use and access to it. That's what we're doing here, is to help you provide that with multiple strategies. Okay. Obviously everyone knows about insanity, right? Doing the same thing, expecting different results. I spent up, by the way, back in the 80s when they came out with Rogaine. I don't know if you heard about that or not. You can see the results.
You're still using it?
It's great for my blood pressure.
It's not gonna work.
If you are expecting the same investment advice from here today, obviously you know you're in the wrong place. Okay? I'm not going to be talking about buying stocks, bonds, mutual funds, or diversifying into this, that, or the other. I'm not going to be talking about stuff that has risk. Okay? But what I'm going to talk about is, if you think what the common denominator in everything I've been saying so far is stability, safety. What else in real estate requires stability and safety? There was another speaker that came before us that talked about it. She gave an example of how the foundation didn't have any footings. So how about creating a solid, strong financial foundation? If I have a strong, solid foundation, especially living in California, where you have a lot of earthquakes, right? And I want to build a skyscraper, is it going to be the same kind of foundation as if I want to build a two-story house? No. So my question to you is this, from a financial standpoint. How strong of a financial foundation do you want for your financial building that you're going to be building? Do you want a two-story financial building, or do you want a skyscraper for your financial building? You pick. Personally, I like ranches. But you pick. My point is that if you're thinking about building a strong financial life, you need a strong financial foundation. You're not going to build a skyscraper with the same foundation that a two-story house needs. Does that make sense? So what we're going to, again, this is where eliminating risk. Do you want a foundation that is going to crack? So you don't want a financial foundation that's going to crack. You basically want to eliminate risk in your finance. Does that make sense? So how do we eliminate risk? We eliminate risk by not being exposed to the typical markets. Now, if I have a strong foundation, financially, I got money growing for me. I can use that money as collateral to basically borrow other people's money to keep growing my financial skyscraper, right? And like you said, own to lease, right? What your daughter's doing. Does it matter to her that it's going to take 5 years or 10 years? No. We're using other people's money, right? Your money is still working for you as a foundation, still growing, stable, compounding, tax-free. Who's in charge of it? Not Uncle Sam. You are, okay? So if you're looking to do wealth, if you're looking to do what the wealthy do, create sustainable wealth, you're in the right place. Okay, financial needs. When do they come up?
Daily.
All the time.
Every day.
Whether you're beginning in the career. Do you guys have you had problems with your houses? Broken cars? Yeah. What about health? How much of us spend our accumulating wealth to end up spending it on our health? Dr. Scott, how many patients do you have coming in just giving money away because they didn't take care of themselves, because they weren't taught how to take care of their health?
A lot.
Right? So, you may lose a job. What if something happens where, in your family, where you need to take time off? All of those things requires what? Money. Cash. Right? So no matter where you are in your life, you're always going to need cash. You're going to need liquidity. So does it make sense for you to tie up your liquidity? Does it make sense to take your money and invest it into real estate things, your money, and invest it and lock it up in walls, and now you need it for some emergency, and you can't take that? I can't take the door out and go to the bank and say, hey, I want to use this for my emergency. Can you take this door as a payment for my next month's mortgage? Are they going to do that? In other words, the equity that you're building up in buildings, in real estate, it's just sitting there. It's not accessible, right? You cannot use it. You cannot access it. Okay? So what is more important is having cash in your pocket. Liquidity. Cash is king. Right? If you guys, by the way, since we talked about books, you want to read a book I'm going to recommend for you. It's about compounding. Okay? It's The Richest Man in Babylon. If you haven't read that, it's a great book.
Also,
Richest Man in Babylon.
also.
I don't remember. If someone can Google that for me, we can get the author for that, okay? So I'm going to pass this because I think I've beaten this horse to a lot here in terms of it makes sense. Look, here's someone who has a 1.5. This is actually real clients of ours, okay? John had $1.5 million. He just sold a startup company that he did, actually out here in San Francisco area, Bay Area. He was an active trader as well, but he has no income assets, and he has no passive income, which means the only way he makes money is if he's working. By the way, most healthcare professionals, the only way they make money is if they're working. Right? So what I have is not a business. What I have is a job that I bought. Because if I'm not at the office, I don't bring home any bread for the family. All right? So a lot of us are not taught to understand that. We say, oh, you're making whatever. A lot of docs make quite a lot of money, as everyone knows, right? So everyone thinks that the more money you make, the more it takes away your problems. No, right? Todd, by the way, has nothing in his account. Okay, he blows his money, his funds on a monthly basis. But he has a secure income asset, and he has passive income. So this is what Todd says to when we were talking to Todd. Todd goes, the best thing ever